Wake Up News, live on Globe Television. I am Sandra BOAHEN. Coming up this morning, the government budget was on return home on May 20. Local defense. This morning, the Ministry of Health has announced plans to address the alarming rate of unemployment among Ghana's health professionals. A lot this morning, the Ghana Cocoa Board has maintained the producer price of cocoa for the 2025 season. Its prices. Jesus Mission College in the Bono East region Nigeria, of former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari as part at Globe TV. We do apologize for the late start. In a very first story for this morning, the Minister for Defense, Dr. Omane Boamah, has revealed that the presidential jet Falcon 900X was unavailable for Vice President Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman's return to Ghana on May 22nd, 2025, due to a multifocal defect discovered during a routine inspection in France. The explanation comes after Member of Parliament for Old Tafo Vincent Eko Asafua filed a question seeking to know why the presidential jet was unavailable for the Vice President's return.
Honorable Vincent Eko Asafua seeks to know if the presidential jet was unavailable, restricted, or assigned other duties at the time the Vice President returned to Ghana aboard a private jet. The presidential jet, Falcon 900 EX, easy registration number 9G-EXE, was unavailable on Thursday, 22nd May 2025, when the Vice President returned to Ghana. The aircraft has been undergoing a 24-monthly or 1,600 flight hour inspection in France since 11th March 2025. After a series of postponements of when the jet was to return to Ghana due to risky, multifocal, massive defects identified and being worked on. The inspection is expected to be completed by 31st July 2025. In conclusion, the presidential jet was unavailable on Thursday, 22nd May 2025, when the Vice President returned to Ghana. There is corrosion in the air intake plug receptacle of the second engine of the aircraft, intermittent tripping of the starter generator of the second engine. There's a need to install a new turbo fan, and being more specific, the fuel tank is also corroded, the left-hand feeder tank corroded, right-hand feeder tank corroded, left-hand center wing tank heavily corroded, right-hand center wing tank heavily corroded.
Away from Parliament, the Minister of Health, Kwabena Mintah-Kando, has announced a comprehensive plan to address the alarming rate of unemployment among Ghana's health professionals. With over 70,000 qualified health workers awaiting jobs, the ministry is exploring various avenues to alleviate the situation.
Speaking on the floor of Parliament, the Minister for Health, Kwabena Mintah-Kando, revealed that the ministry has initiated the process of recruiting over 9,000 medical doctors, with financial clearance being sought from the Ministry of Finance to facilitate the recruitment process. The minister revealed that a staggering 66% of Ghanaian health workers are considering migrating to other countries in search of better opportunities, citing poor working conditions and lack of long-term incentives. He emphasized that the government is committed to engaging health professionals and providing quality healthcare services to all Ghanaians.
The problem is therefore enormous, but we are committed to finding solutions to it. Financial clearance. The ministry is actively engaging the relevant stakeholders, including the Ministry of Finance, to ensure that the recruitment of professionals is done as soon as possible to beef up the numbers at various health delivery institutions to promote quality of care for all people living in Ghana. Manage migration. The Speaker, another measure being pursued by the Ministry of Health to reduce the number of unemployed health professionals is the managed migration of Ghanaian health professionals. The ministry has received formal requests from over 13 countries expressing interest in the recruitment and deployment of qualified nurses and other health professionals from Ghana.
The minister provided a detailed breakdown of the unemployment health professionals and assured the public that the government is committed to reducing the significant backlog whilst enhancing health service delivery nationwide. To achieve this, the ministry is actively exploring partnership with the private sector to create more employment opportunities for health professionals.
Currently, the number of health workers demanding employment is substantial and far above the 30,000 as quoted. Please permit me to provide some details of health professionals currently eligible for employment but yet to be recruited. Now I go to nurses. The Speaker, we have the 2021 batch with a total of 15,947. The 2022 batch with a total of 17,176. And the 2023 batch with a total of 15,755. Mr. Speaker, this gives us a total of 48,878 unemployed nurses.
Parliament, and as the world marks World Population Day, members of Parliament are urging the government to take tangible actions to benefit the country's youth population. With a significant proportion of Ghana's population under 25, the MPs emphasized the need for targeted policies to harness the potential of young people and drive economic growth.
To the Member of Parliament, job opportunities are crucial for preventing wasted potential and promoting happy families, particularly in rural areas with high unemployment rates. She advocated for policies supporting youth development, noting that investment in youth can yield economic benefits and promote overall development.
So I was admonishing them that we should translate this into a targeted action where it will not just be a statement, but it will be something that it would benefit the youth. Because looking at the statistics, we have 57% of the Ghanaian population who are under the age of 25 years old, which is very, very, very good for the country. And so if we put in place policies and things that would help the youth, it would be beneficial to the country, especially girls and women.
The Member of Parliament for Pro West, Emmanuel Kofin Tekenu, highlighted the importance of factoring in the youth and planning ahead for the rising population, with the global population projected to reach 8.2 billion by the end of the year and 9.9 billion by 2050. Tekenu emphasized the need for effective planning to cater to the country's growing population.
The United Nations felt that, no, there should be a day to remind the nations that this is where we are. This is where we can be in future. What provisions are we making for the future generation? What provisions are we making for the current population? So that in everything we do, we factor the youth. We plan ahead to cater for the rising population.
Deputy Minority Leader Patricia Piaget also emphasized the significance of investing in Ghana's young population, comprising over 60% of the citizens under 35. She highlighted the dual nature of this demographic and the need to ensure inclusion and access to education, healthcare, employment, and civic participation for all young people.
This demographic presents both a challenge and a golden opportunity. The challenge lies in ensuring that they are not left behind in education, health, employment, and civic inclusion. The opportunity lies in harnessing their energies, creativity, and potential to build resilient families and a prosperous nation. This year's theme urges us to recognize that empowering the youth through access to quality education, reproductive health information and services, employment opportunities, and civic participation is essential in preparing them to form quality.
President John Dramani Mahama has taken a swipe at shaping lines for what he describes as unfair and excessive charges on container processing. He says it is illogical for importers to pay the same administrative fee multiple times for the same paperwork.
President John Dramani Mahama has highlighted the need for reforms at Ghana's ports, citing the practice of charging multiple fees for a single bill of loading. Speaking during a meeting with the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders at the Jubilee House, he noted that importers are often required to pay 20 separate fees for 20 containers despite having the same documentation. President Mahama emphasized that this practice is not only costly but also put Ghana's ports at a competitive disadvantage compared to neighboring countries like Lome.
We held a meeting not too long ago. I think GRA was there, the different groups, the Minister of Transport and all of them were there. And we cannot understand that, like he said, you charge an administrative charge for processing my container. And so you process my container administratively on a piece of paper. And I bring one container. And then he brings 20 containers. The same paper, it's the same administrative. Why would you don't do it one paper for every container? The paper just says 20 containers. This one says 1 container. By the time you spend in administering those containers, it's the same. So why charge for each one? And the thing is, when I inquired, they don't do that in Lome. They don't do that in any other port, only in Ghana. And so it really doesn't, make sense.
To address this issue, President Mahama has directed the Transport Minister and Attorney General to ensure compliance with the requirements that all charges be approved by Parliament.
We charged the Minister of Transport to go into it and sit with the shipping lines and look into those administrative charges. And the point is, the law says that fees and levies shall be ratified by Parliament. And so nobody can come and charge any fees within the jurisdiction of Ghana, because we consulted the Attorney General, and you cannot charge any fee or levy within the territories of Ghana without parliamentary approval. And so that must be rectified as soon as possible. And so we charged the Minister of Transport and the Attorney General to make sure that those fees are brought to Parliament for approval before they can charge those fees.
The Ghana Cocoa Board has maintained the producer price of cocoa at 3,000 Ghana cedis, 100 per 64-kilogram bag for the 2025-2026 season, despite neighboring Cote d'Ivoire increasing its prices. This decision has sparked a debate with SANDRA Member of Parliament Charles Forson questioning the Minister of Agriculture in Parliament about the unchanged price. However, ranking member of the Agriculture Committee Vincent Upon Asamoah has defended Cocoa Board's decision, citing the need for stability and sustainability in the cocoa sector.
The controversy stemmed from a 2024 election promise by John Dramani Mahama, the then NDC flag bearer, to increase the cocoa producer price to 6,000 Ghana cedis per 64-kilogram bag, citing prevailing world market prices. However, the government has maintained the price as 3,100 Ghana cedis per 64-kilogram bag for the 2025-2026 season, despite Cote d'Ivoire's price increase. This decision has sparked criticisms, with MP Charles Forson questioning the Minister for Agriculture in Parliament about the unchanged price, highlighting the discrepancies with the neighboring Cote d'Ivoire. In response, the MP's concerns, ranking member of the Agriculture Committee, Vincent Upon Asamoah, defended Cocoa Board decision, citing the need for stability and sustainability in the cocoa sector. According to Asamoah, the decision was made after a thorough assessment of operational and financial implications. He noted that the industry faces challenges like smuggling and price disparities with neighboring countries.
The fact of the matter is that we know usually cocoa, the main crop usually starts in September, October, thereabout. That has been the history. Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, we are neighbors. So anytime the producer price of cocoa in Cote d'Ivoire is higher than Ghana, we all know the implication. Smuggle, yeah. So usually you need to have your intelligence working very, very well by monitoring the prices over there before you even come in with the price here. I remember very well during the Toponi's time. Usually they have their own mechanism of monitoring the price across the border because they come out with producer price in Ghana.
Upon Asamoah also highlighted the effort of Cocoa Board's new CEO to stabilize the industry, improve management, and address debt incurred by the previous government. He expressed disappointment with the minority's concerns, describing them as mischievous.
To say that Cote d'Ivoire have already announced the price of their cocoa, so Ghana should have also had the same. We are almost ending the light crop, and we are about to start the main crop. So once you have not started, how do you announce a new producer price of cocoa? Definitely there's going to be a new producer price of cocoa. but you have to also look beyond your borders. At least we border Cote d'Ivoire, we border Togo and Burkina, and they all have interest in cocoa. We know Ghana cocoa is premium, so all the neighboring countries would like to have some quantity of Ghana cocoa so that they can get good prices elsewhere.
To promote agriculture and self-sufficiency among students, Ghana's Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoko, has announced plans to establish farms in every senior high school across the country. According to the minister, the initiative aims to challenge negative perceptions about farming and encourage students to consider careers in the agricultural sector. The school farming
is very important to us for two major reasons. One, when you go to our secondary schools and you see some of the students in breach of school rules, they assign portions of the school land to weed as a form of punishment. This has created the erroneous impression among students that weeding is a form of punishment. But it is a profession that sustains livelihoods, and we think that we must work to ensure that we put this into our upcoming generation. And so what we want them to do is to take advantage of the rich soil around them to have school farms, produce to support school feeding. Because sometimes you hear in the news that this secondary school, they are not getting food, they are crying, they are doing this. We think that if we are able to mobilize them to participate in this process, they can produce a lot to support their own feeding. And so it is not meant for export. We want them to produce the vegetables, the small things that they can do to support whatever government offers to ensure that we improve.
Are you still watching the Wake Up News live on Globe Television? Coming up on the program, Jesus Mission College in the Bono East region hosts a 5-day conference to empower ministers of God with knowledge and inspiration to disseminate the word of God to humanity. More stories coming up right after the break. To stay. Let's do regional stories. Jesus Mission College in the Bono East region hosted a 5-day conference aimed at empowering ministers of God with knowledge and inspiration to effectively disseminate the word of God to humanity. The event concluded on July 11, receiving praise from attendees who expressed gratitude for the opportunity to enhance their skills and promise to apply the lessons learned in their respective ministries.
The Stir Up Ministers Conference 2025 took place from July 7 to July 11, 2025 at Tiobodom in the Techima North Municipality of the Bono East region. Themed, Till We All Come in the Unity of the Faith, the conference aimed to empower ministers of God with knowledge and skills to fulfill their calling effectively. One of the speakers at the event, Reverend Daniel Owusu, highlighted the event's importance in fortifying ministers' faith and drawing Christians closer to God.
Asofo and our Jumadi Asho Monsa. But Tripoli in an say members now me Edo Maba yen Aseno. Ebitimi enini ewo Christo nipadua ministry nimu. Enti ye say asore na se afibia no ye ma asofo no ntete na omutimi hunu kwan befa so a omane membership no ombitima bo manyini onyame mu nti eno na so esore ye mpanyimfo daye
The program's director, Reverend Thomas Labi, expressed concern over the prevalence of corruption in public offices, particularly given that many officials claim to be Christians. He attributed this issue to a deeper mindset problem, emphasizing the need for spiritual transformation through the teachings of God to bring about positive change.
No, as I say, you who botai edi botai bi esi ye no sontia. Obi ja botai ode kwa asori. Most of them no as a omunni botai bi enti ode kwa asori. And say people are going to church. That is why they are going to church. But so botai bi enti ode kwa asori a won't practice corruption. Our society now time metra asori dem. You see most of the people na here can be na here Christopher. Be na kwa asori. They have their money. They can buy a pastor and pay the pastor will be praying for them. It's see, and anything corruption there, the mindset, it is on my your home between your toy and our my na corruption every month. Say we have to recycle the mind of the people.
Speaking on behalf of the conference attendees, Alberta J. applauded the church for organizing this crucial conference, stressing that it has enlightened them in their line of work as ministers of God.
The ministry and the work, say we are so for no. So who can say we are Juma, and I can say Juma. Now we are Juma. A Juma obe to me aye dia kan wa NG nyame ebre emoso. The five-fold ministry no. The offices na unyame ededom ye no. Ti obi okra na onamu sa na onim in office. But through the conference, baby, we say is I'm a pastor, me evangelist, me a prophet, me apostle. Am I who sani amano?
The Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference is urging the government to restore the mutual respect and collaboration that once characterized the partnership between the church and the state in managing mission schools. According to the bishops, this long-standing partnership has steadily deteriorated as some education officials and local opinion leaders increasingly treat mission schools as state-owned properties, ignoring the ownership rights, historical contributions and responsibilities of the founding churches.
First, the church urges that a formal agreement be established between the mission/unit schools owners and the government before the beginning of the next academic year 2025-2026. This agreement must specify both parties' roles, rights, obligations, ensuring that the mission schools, I'm not talking of only Catholic schools, mission schools maintain their distinct identity and operational independence while receiving state support and aiding in achieving national educational objectives.
We continue to pursue and ensure effective teaching and learning in a congenial environment, despite the challenges that confront us, especially as a day school, in this very complex catchment area. Mr. Chairman, while we justifiably hail schools, most of whom are well endowed for producing scores of 8 A's in the WASI results, it is high time SHS day schools like Olam SHS are applauded and encouraged for improving the results the BCE candidates enter our school with. We have largely transformed students who came in with aggregates, for example, 25, 30, 50, and maybe 100, to what's the results of aggregate 11, 12, 13, and even lower.
This is coming from the Bono East region because residents of Kintampo are urgently calling on government authorities, including the Municipal Security Council, Regional Coordinating Council, and National Security, to step in and address the escalating chieftaincy dispute, which is posing a significant threat to their safety and economic stability.
While the dispute centers on rightful occupant of the stool, local residents emphasize that its consequences extend far beyond traditional protocol, directly impacting their livelihoods and safety. This, according to residents, is having a direct economic consequence as vendors who relied on the town's active night economy are now hesitant to operate, leading to a substantial loss of revenue for the municipality.
Kintampo has always enjoyed the 24-hour economy. It is one of the cities in this country that doesn't sleep. We collect revenue morning to the next morning. With chieftaincy disputes, people get scary even to loiter around in the evenings and in the night. And so people who have things to sell would think twice before they loiter out into the night. That is loss of revenue to Kintampo. We have a market that is being disrupted every now and then. And so marketeers are not able to come to the market and proceed with their economic activities as they should. These are some of the things that affect our economy right here in Kintampo.
Those fighting around, they are disturbing with the youth who are coming up now. Right now, if you are fighting, how will I go to work and get money for my family? What I'll just tell them that we need peace in Kintampo here. Tourist attractions.
Kintampo is endowed with a lot of tourist attraction that could help improve the status of the community. And if we had one paramount chief who would lead us and fight for development for the community, it would be the best. The residents stress that the ongoing conflict is actively eroding the stability and security of the community, urging for a swift intervention from the National Security and the Regional Police Command to tame the growing unrest in the area.
Use this opportunity to call on the municipal security headed by the MC, the regional security headed by the regional minister, and the national security to kindly take a keen interest in the happenings within Kintampo, since the town is currently sitting on a time bomb, and any provoked attack could jeopardize the peace that we are enjoying.
To tackle the growing menace, the MC for Kintampo North, Isaac Donko, has officially referred the issue to RECSEC for deliberation and intervention.
I've taken the needed steps, and now RECSEC has taken over. I've reported to them and given them all the needed reports about the conflict situation I came and met in the municipality, and they are also taking it up. And I want to use this opportunity to advise the teeming youth who are following these chiefs. No chief will have to move to go and do this. It is about their followers, their supporters. And as a municipal chief executive who is lucky to come from both sides, the Wangara side and the Mo side, I want to just advise the youth peacefully and humbly that we all need development. They should rally behind me for us to move in terms of unity, and we can.
Oh, coming up in Nigeria, former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has passed away at 82 in London, where he was undergoing medical treatment. We have the details coming up shortly to stay. Former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has passed away at 82 in London, where he was undergoing medical treatment. During his presidency, which started in 2015, Buhari prioritized fighting corruption and tackling the Boko Haram insurgency in northern Nigeria. While he achieved some successes, such as weakening Boko Haram and freeing hostages, his administration faced criticism for slow reforms and unresolved issues like unemployment and insecurity.
For a quiet man, Muhammadu Buhari's rise to the top was a stormy one. Early in his career, he led a coup, was sent to jail, survived an assassination attempt, and lost 3 elections, eventually winning the presidency at his 4th attempt. His predecessor, Goodluck Jonathan, was criticized for not doing enough to crack down on corruption. Many saw Buhari as someone who could bring change.
President Buhari would be remembered as one president who brought some sense of sanity into the presidency of the country, who tried to bring about reforms.
Many Nigerians welcomed him as a new champion against corruption.
The president-elect who will assume office tomorrow. Congratulations.
Once in office, hundreds of thousands of dollars were seized from politicians, judges, and former civil servants.
A section of the population thought that the fight against corruption was selective, that in some cases he did not obey the rule of law.
In the end, corruption was overshadowed by Boko Haram. Under the previous government, fighters had seized a large part of northern Nigeria and kidnapped hundreds of schoolgirls. Within a year of Buhari taking office, Boko Haram was weakened and many hostages freed, cementing his reputation as a competent military leader.
He will be judged, history will judge him well on that. The welcome back of the girls to rehabilitate them, the efforts made by members of his cabinet, I think he'll be judged right.
But the fighters remain a significant threat. In other areas, critics said the pace of reforms was too slow. Even his wife publicly demanded he shake up government. The reply took everyone by surprise.
And may he so rest in perfect peace. We take a recap of the top stories. The government has revealed that the presidential jet was unavailable for the vice president to return home on May 22, 2025 due to a multifocal defect. The Ministry of Health has announced the plans to address the alarming rate of unemployment among Ghana's health professionals. In Nigeria, former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has passed away at 82 in London, where he was undergoing medical treatment. That's how we wrap up with the bulletin this morning. But coming up on Yesen No Say, we dive into the new Patriotic Party's historic loss in the 2024 general elections. Join Naneje as he breaks down the internal weaknesses and external factors that led to the party's downfall. With exclusive insights from party insiders, this discussion promises to shed light on the NPP's future prospects. Tune in for an in-depth analysis of the party's electoral defeat and what's next for its political landscape. I am Sandra BOAHEN, and thank you so much for joining us.